This was the rough for it. Again, the face at the top was the inset panel, which was just the shadows from the face and cloak. And there was going to be the shading at the two top corners were just the suggestion of that's where the kind of very, very pale blue sky was going to be, and the rest of the robe was going to be white, as was the background for the rest of the page, with just some simple shadows under the chin. So it was almost this kind of weird jellyfish type thing hanging down in the background. That was the inset panel, and then in the book, these are the open pages of the book, and this is all the people in the world, and all different skin colours and body shapes and all the rest of it. Everybody's tastefully naked, different ages.
Tastefully naked?
Yeah, I mean, you just
boobs.
Yeah, there's nothing hanging out and swinging around or anything like that. But what you down at the bottom of the panel, what you can see on the finished thing was the page to slightly to the right that's curving up that the people are standing on has like little illustrations of all the people, you know, like almost like diagrams, again done in a similar sepia, like Leonardo sketchbook style, like Vitruvian Man or something. And on the backs of the pages, on the underside, you could actually see the same people from the back, and it was, you know, so stuff that, I mean, it could have been anything in those pages, but I'm presuming at this, because it's the book that's got everything in it, and later on, you know, further on we see it's got the whole universe, and it's got atoms and galaxies and everything, yeah, that kind of thing. It's a map of the universe, but it's 3D and it's plunging down in. We've got the coloured one of that, don't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we did. We started with that.
Shocking.
But yeah, it's that way. I suppose in the section that had all the people on it, it would be all the diagrams. It would be a front and back drawing of every single person that's ever been, or that's ever been thought up, or, you know. So it's just, again, you don't need to make the page crazy with detail to try and get a lot of information across. I think we'll flick on now.
Right. Shall we move on to now? Superman stuff. Week 3.
Yeah, chronologically, Week 3 was next. Yeah. Week 3 was another change of pace, and another stepping stone, like the Lobo stuff, where we were really trying to do. I'm saying we were really trying to do something different. Grant was really pushing me to do something different. He didn't know what exactly it was that he wanted, or he didn't know exactly how to describe it to me. But he wanted something that suggested dealing with slices of time. And, you know, part of the idea was to do with the way animals see things, and part of the idea was just to make it visually something interesting and rich. That yeah, like this one. You've got a truck driving. This woman's just left the shop. You've got a truck driving past. You actually saw the truck in the previous page through the shop door. Then you zoom in the back of the truck, which has been a recurring theme in Week 3, where you're always just behind somebody's feet, or somebody's paws, or somebody's wheels. And then you do this thing that is easier done in comics than in movies, where you have this kind of cutaway, and we've got a kind of blueprint, X-ray type of treatment on the line work. And this is the animals that we'd seen in the previous scene, now being taken away from the job they'd just done, and you've got the tech guys at the computers on the weird mezzanine floor above, and yeah, you've got a couple of guys in the foreground sitting against the invisible back doors of the truck. If you flick onto the next page, thanks. This, again, it was like that X-Men thing where I'm trying to suggest as much as possible, as simply as possible. The truck's driving along through the countryside. We've left the city now. It's all black borders through the whole comic. Silhouetted into the black borders, the leaves. We've got this kind of simple nod to manga with the leaves being stretched and the shadows being almost like speed lines, although it's on a grassy bank. So it is actually grassy, the shadows. But so you've got this suggestion of movement, and a wee flash of sunlight on the windscreen, as sometimes happens when a car drives by and you suddenly get a flash, and then it's kind of broken by that telegraph pole in the centre, and then you see, then all the leaves are stationary by the time you get to the right hand side of the frame, and that's where the truck's about to go on its journey. So you've got this really simple thing where time is moving from left to right across the page, but if you're not really interested in investing that much thought in it, and you shouldn't actually have to think about it, it's just a picture of a truck driving through the countryside because it's now left the city, and then it's arriving at a high security place. And again, it's that establishing shot, because the second frame is where they've arrived at, and it's got a sliding fence that's opened up. You can see in the second panel the little red bits either side, the truck's driving through, and there's a stripy barrier. And there's armed guards and there's a watchtower and all the rest of it. And then in the third panel, the barrier's nearly down and you can just see ahead. You don't really see what it is, you just see that the van's stopped and soldiers and guys in lab coats have come out. And there's some sort of door area that they're about to go into, like it's built into a hillside or something. But again, done as simply as possible, like you're just seeing a bit of it. And then in the fourth panel, the stripy barrier's completely down and the gates are nearly shut. I
like the implication in that third one that you're not meant to be in there as well.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, this is private.
Yeah, and you're kept out rather than follow the truck in and see the guys in the lab coats and they're going to get taken inside.
And have a big sign that says top secret on the door.
Yeah, and see what kind of installation it is. It's all kind of like it's top secret, you're kept out. And anyway, so again, it's just that idea that I'm trying to suggest time, movement, and get as much information as possible, but it's really just but it's this kind of thing most of the X-Men fans would hate because it's really boring. It's just this really rigid looking page. But you know, these are the types of comics I like to look at myself. So you know, it makes sense that this is the way I draw things out. So,
but this is the sort of thing that you think about, isn't it? I mean, this is the sort of thing that.
Stop at that one just for a second. I'll be really brief with this. This one, the first again, you know, the first panel, like the last time it was cut with the leaves, and it was to suggest kind of fast movement at one side, slowing down. This panel's actually cut into three by a couple of tree trunks in the foreground, and again, we're far back, like we're hiding the undergrowth, the way the animals are. They've escaped from this installation some bit later on in the story. And they're on the hillside looking about, they don't know what to do, but that first panel, when it's broken up into three, it's starting a new scene, and there's just it's almost like the first panel's three panels, and the first one's just this wee tiny slice, you know, and you're back outside, you've been inside an artificially lit concrete interior for ages, and now you're outside in the daylight.